Much better. Well, welcome you guys. We are looking at Google Classroom, which is a great tool for having students turn in work and you being able to give feedback on it. And one of the basic ways that we give students work is we just add a document right into Google Classroom and then they just turn it in. No problem. But what if they use resources outside of Google Classroom? Like they use a product that makes a video or anything else. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create an assignment. I'm going to call it number 001, and we're going to call it Collaborative Google Slides. Now, in this case, I'm going to create a Google Slides right in here. Then I'm going to have each of you join in the assignment, and you're going to add your own slide. This is my second favorite assignment, my first being students answering in the private comments, because why open up 30 documents when I can just open up one? I'm going to call it Add a Slide. I'm going to come over here. I'm going to switch it from Can View to Can Edit. So this is Collaborate. It is the middle option. The default is View. The bottom one is make a giant pile of paperwork for yourself. Stop that. Go for the middle option. Students can collaborate. And I'm just going to assign. So if you could now find assignment number 001, I'm going to copy the link to this assignment and I'm going to put it in the chat. So one of the best things that you can do for yourself as a teacher, in my opinion, is to experience Google Classroom as a student. How do you turn things in? How do you find information? How do you navigate? So you're going to need to go to the classwork page, please. And I have assignment number 001 posted for you. And if you would do that to locate your slide. And what you're going to do is you're going to add a slide, put anything on it. I usually say put your name in the speaker notes. That's down here. Put your name in the speaker notes. Now, you do not own this file. You do not own this file, and this is unique to Google Apps. If you use any other product, ownership is irrelevant. In an attempt to stop you from turning in someone else's work, that's not actually the real reason. What happens is the code is switching ownership from the student to the teacher, which I vehemently disagree with, but that's the way it works. And it can't switch the student as owner to you being owner unless they're the owner. So you can only turn in links as a student to Google documents that you own. Who owns these collaborative Google Slides? Me. So since I own it, you cannot turn it in the regular way. So what I need you to do is at the top of your window, the browser, do Control L and highlight the URL. Control L to highlight the URL. Control C to copy. So you're on your slide, you're looking at your slide, and you're going to Control L, highlight the URL, and Control C, copy. Now what you're going to do is take that copied link, and back in the Google Classroom assignment, you have to put it in the private comments. Now, honestly, does it matter if a student turns in a link into the private comments or if they turn it into add link? It does not matter. It does not matter. It's just where I would access the student's work would be a little bit lower, so who cares? Oh, yes. Control L. I swear I walk around class like this. It's awesome. And so you are going to turn that in and click the turn in button. I do want to remind you that whether or not they click in the turn in button, you still have access to their work, and you can beat your chest all day long, but adults don't always click the turn in button either. You have their work. That's just going to happen. What I do is I intentionally have a day, like as my warm up, is I have them go to the view your work page and they turn in anything that says missing. Like I just give them time to push the turn in button. And that's the assignment for that period of time. Okay, so I'm going to come on back over here. I see that I have 2 have turned it in, 2 are still assigned. When I come into the assignment, I'm looking at the assessment screen. and I'm able to see who turned it in. And I love this private comment preview. So underneath Kristen's name, underneath Gabby's name, I see them not getting into the classroom. Okay, hold on a second. Let me get you the code again.
Alice?
Yes.
I don't have a submit button. I do have like it says. Okay, I'll try and because it's all in Hebrew. It says just sign it as something that you have done, and then I get a message that it says you did not put your work in here, so your teacher will not see it.
Yep. Yep, that's right. Perfect. Exactly, Lauren. So now you know what they see. That's the goal of today. So you have not attached anything. You've linked in the comments. You've left the teacher a comment. It's just letting you know you have no attachments. Hey, guess what, Lauren? You have no attachments. That's accurate.
Because I put my name in the slides, the shared slides.
Which is not an attachment.
And I didn't do my own work.
You don't have your own file.
Right.
Yes.
Okay, so should I say yes?
Of course. Why don't we do this activity again so that you can take some screenshots? Because one of the things that you want is, and you should take advantage right now of taking as many screenshots as you possibly can, so that when you are assigning work to students along these lines, you can, what I do is I build a Google Doc and I put the screenshots in there. So I make a directions document, like, you're going to see this warning. Say, okay, you're turning it in. It's just letting you know you don't have an individual document, which is kind of the point. It's fine.
Oh, so that's the way it's supposed to be.
It's the way it's supposed to be. But of course, the first time it always freaks the kids out and they get over it pretty dang quickly. But we'll do this assignment one more time, Lauren, and you will take some screenshots the whole time, like take a bunch. And they'll be in Hebrew, which will be great for your students. My screenshots will help you. Okay? So once I open these, when I click on Dawn's name, what you'll notice is I have no access to the feedback tool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click on this. And can you see my right click?
Yeah.
So my options is to open the link in the new tab or open the link in a new window. I'm going to open it in a new window. All right, I'm going to stop presenting, and then I'm going to present my entire screen so that you can see both of these. Do my entire screen, cover you fine folks up. So you'll notice is that I am on the right-hand side. I am on slide 4. This is Dawn's slide. Dawn has put her name down in the speaker notes. Does this take some practice to get kids to add a slide, put their name in the speaker notes, and turn in the link? You bet. But even little kids can do this, right? So now what you see is I have side by side is I have the assignment screen on the left, and I have the collaborative Google Slides on the right. Now, one of the things that I do is when I look at student work, I take a screenshot. So I have a Chrome extension called Quick Share Screenshot. And I'm going to take full screen. I look at it. And then over here on the left in the private comment, I'm going to comment to Dawn. I put my initials. I put my initials so I know that it's my comment and not a student comment. In the comment preview, you cannot tell whose comment it is, so it is very helpful. I like to, as often as possible, put their name in everything. If I make a video feedback, I say their name. If I use Mote or something with a audio recorded feedback, I say their name. And if I type feedback, I try to write their name as often as is reasonable. I personalize it. I think it's important. Done. Thank you for getting started. You have not finished. Control V. So you'll notice that what I have here is at this moment, she doesn't have her work done. But by the time she looks at the score and whatever she's doing, she might have her work done. So if I have a screenshot of what it looked like when I looked at it, then my feedback comment matches what I saw, not the current version, but the comment is a moment in time, right? So I like to always include this screenshot. Allow me to, I'm going to go to alicekeo.com/webstore. And if you scroll down there, you've got quick share screenshot. And this is free. Here is the link to it. Okay. And I definitely am of the habit of using quick share screenshot pretty much for everything. If I'm looking at student work, I'm going to do it. Now, here's a little trick you may not realize. Do you see that I use plus, control plus, control plus, control plus to zoom in? Control plus zooms in, control minus zooms out. Control minus zooms out, control plus zooms in. When I zoom in enough, it gets rid of the left-hand side. Why is that significant? Do you see here where it says no grade? I cannot type in her grade here. I have to come all the way over to the left and put the grade over here. Right? And now you can see in the upper right that it gives her grade. However, if I zoom in, control plus, this is now editable. So when I'm zoomed out, it's not editable. When I am zoomed in, it is. So by zooming in, not only does this old lady's eyes get to see it better, you see I can read her comments and things, I can actually enter her score in right here. So I'm going to go ahead and push enter. And then I just push this X to remove it. And I'm going to go to Kristen. I'm going to click on Kristen, which you'll notice opens up in an expanded view. Why? Because I'm zoomed in. Control plus. I'm going to right click and I'm going to open it in a new window. And you can see that I now have Kristen's. And what's nice about this is that it is actually Google Slides. You know, if you open it up in the Google Slides in the feedback tool, you don't have access to the full toolbar and some of your capabilities. So this is pretty nice. And you all know me, I like to put Bitmojis on people's slides for feedback. All right, and I'm going to take a screenshot, quick share screenshot, full screen. My initials. Hi, Kristen. Thanks for saying hello to me. Can you finish your work? And then I'm able to put the score right here, which I think is pretty convenient. So the magic trick here is to zoom in, control plus, control plus, control plus. Then I use this X right above the score to return back to the summary. And I'm going to go to Lauren, who hasn't turned anything in. I'm going to click the X. Now, let me go back to Laura.
I don't understand. I'm sorry. How come I haven't?
Yeah, I thought you turned it
in. Anything.
Did you push the send button when you put it in the private comment? So here's what I'm going to do. Oh, and Lauren, I spelled your name wrong. I'm sorry. I'm going to edit that. You know, you can do that. 3 dots, edit. I don't edit typos unless I spell their name wrong.
No, that's fine. I just don't understand what I've done.
Well, it's
wrong.
It's a good object.
Others they didn't.
Okay. So now I'm over here in this where I'm on Kristen's slide. I'm going to use a control F and I'm going to find and I'm going to look for Lauren.
Yeah.
Comes me right to her. So Lauren didn't get the link turned in, but because we're all in the same Google Slides and I teach them to put their name in the private comments. Oops, that was too big. Put the name in the private comments. When I control F search, I jump to their slide anyway. So it really doesn't matter. I'm going to control L highlight the URL. I'm going to control C copy. And Lauren, I found your slide. I would recommend you don't do that. Because if you enable them, if you do it for them, then you're always going to do it for them. So I would recommend that you return it without a score and ask them to resubmit with the link. They need to learn how to do this. But once in a while, my kids, I know they know how to do it. You know, we all do this sometimes, don't we? Send an email and we forgot to actually write the email. Whatever. I know Lauren knows how to do it. She just didn't this time. I found it. I put the link in there. All right, I'm going to take my screenshot. Paste it, and I'm going to give her credit. Push enter, and then I just click this X, and I go right back. So you see how easy this is to give feedback? Now here, I can either Control F Gabby. She didn't spell it that way. Or I right click and I just open it in a new window so I can do side by side. Why didn't that find it? It says Gabby right there. Okay. Take a full screen. Create the emoji, Gabby. Control V paste. And then I give credit. Enter. It says saving. And that goes a lot faster because I'm not doing right, left, and so that's pretty nice. Okay, and then it's essential to return
then
their
I
work.
saw that, I'm sorry, then I saw that I did give grades, but it still says that this child did not hand in the work.
On yours?
Yeah.
Why don't you refresh, Lauren? I just gave you.
No, mine. On the students, I gave them an assignment.
Yes.
And some of them just, they just put the link in the private comments.
Yes.
And this is the way they send it. So I gave them a grade. I can see I gave them a grade, but it says hasn't been submitted. That's what it says.
Yes, so they didn't push mark is done. Which really is irrelevant. If you saw it and you gave them a grade and you returned it, it's just letting you know that you scored it without them turning it in first. It doesn't mean anything.
Right.
That happens quite often. I go in and I look through the roster, and what's really nice about the Matthew, your link has double HTTs. What's really nice about having them submit to the private comments is I can just scroll down here and I can see Matthew has turned this in because I can see the preview. So even if he doesn't turn it in, you see it's under assigned. He's not turned it in, but I can see that he put in something. So they turn it in or they don't, I still know. This is why one of my strategies is I want students to always, on every assignment, reflect in the private comments. Whatever the assignment is not the assignment. The assignment is the reflection on the assignment. What did you learn from this? And that's what I would evaluate over the actual product. It's harder to cheat at that. It's like, oh, did somebody fill out your whole worksheet for you? You copied it off of somebody else? Awesome. Now just explain this to me here in the private comments. Oh, you can't because you didn't do your own work. Okay, great. I'm evaluating that. Let's do it again. I'm going to go to the classroom page. I'm going to create an assignment. Number 002. We're going to do another collaboration. And I'm doing this for the opportunity for you to take some screenshots. So I'm going to do slides. And it opens. And I like to put the assignment number up in the title. So number 002. Another collaborative Google Slides. And I need to switch it from view to collaborate, that middle option, collaborate. And I'm going to go ahead and assign. So if you would please go find assignment number 2, you'll need to refresh. Find number 2. Go ahead. Matthew, do you have a question?
Oh, do the kids get an email when you send them a private comment?
Yeah.
And then it also shows
you
up
turn
in
that off. They don't check it. I mean, you can turn off notifications, and I can't control if they did that.
Alex, can I ask a question?
Of course.
Do you have the kids hand in like a Google slide in private comment, like how we're doing too, rather than just writing a summary of what they learned?
I do a lot of things. I try to mix it up.
Okay.
You'll see what I've done is, yes, whatever the assignment is, I don't care what it is. Any assignment, fill out this worksheet, watch this video, participate in class. How do you grade class participation? You can't. That has got to be the most biased thing we do as educators. That is your opinion, and the introverts are heavily at a disadvantage when they're probably the ones doing the most thinking. So what we do is when you have a class discussion, when you have a class activity, you put the assignment in Google Classroom, and then when it's done, they have to reflect on the activity. What is something that someone else said that you wanted to say? What do you think was the most important part of the lesson? What were you thinking when this happened? Okay, give them some sentence stems where they can prove their participation.
And you have them put that in private comments.
Yeah.
Rather than the chat.
Oh, definitely. You're going to track that.
Mm-hmm.
So at the end of the meet, I need a break and go to the bathroom. I don't want to go through the meet chat ever. I never want to go through and read the meet chat. That sounds like not my idea of a good time. If you enjoy it, rock on for you. So if I'm trying to figure out who's participating and how much they're participating, I give them things to participate on. So one of them is at the end of the meet, you're going to reflect in the private comments on what you learned in the lesson. And the second thing I do is I use the form to slides, where they fill out a Google form and their answer becomes my slides. And then at the end, I have a record of how many times they submitted it. So I can tell if they actually participated.
Can we do a workshop on that?
I did. We did that last week.
I missed it.
In today's email. Okay, so I'm going to go to geogebra.org. I love GeoGebra, and you see over here under more great apps, it says Notes. GeoGebra Notes is an awesome tool for any of you. GeoGebra Notes, you can draw on it. You can make some shapes. You can even, I can add a text box. And you could even, you see this button in the bottom right? I can add more pages. And I am going to choose PDF, which all of you know I'm a PDF hater. Let's see if I can find, just cleaned out my PDF. I don't want to put my pay stubs on there. That's credit card authorization agreement. I don't think I want to do that one. PDF. Okay, I don't know what this is. Oh, there we go. How nice is this? So in my GeoGebra notes, I can create multiple pages. I can add in my directions documents that might be in PDF form. Students can write on here. I want to make sure that I'm signed in, which I am. And then I'm going to share it, and I'm going to do number 003 activity. And I'm going to click Save. And so then over here in Google Classroom, I'm going to create an assignment, number 003, read and do something. I'm going to add the link from GeoGebra Notes. I do this all the time. I love it. I love it. Why is it? Okay.
Do you have to make that editable or anything?
No, it just is. So this is not collaborative. Okay. So what's going to happen is you're going to get this link. You're going to open it. It ends in HW55. You can see right there. And you have to log in. So the first, log in first. Super important. You got to log in. And then you're going to click the share icon. It has 3 dots and 2 lines. Save it and name it with your name. Turn in link in Google Classroom by clicking add and adding a link. Okay, guys, be prepared to take screenshots here of what this is going to look like when you do all of these things. So I'm going to click assign. Here is the assignment. I'm going to copy the link to the assignment, and I'm going to put in the chat. Gabby, I've also heard that GeoGebra Notes will soon be collaborative.
Can the kids access this if you drop it in the chat like that too?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
So wait till you see how this looks, because you're really going to like this. So what I'd like you to do is to go find number 3. You're going to open the GeoGebra Notes. Okay, so I need you to open the Geogebra Notes. In the upper right-hand corner, it says sign in. Mine doesn't because I'm already signed in. In the upper right-hand corner, you're going to sign in. You make an account with your Google account, you know, so you don't have to make a username and password. So just take a couple of seconds to do that.
Do you just sign in with Google?
Yes. I don't want to use anything that makes me make a login. If I can't sign in with Google, I'm out. If you would then maybe take the pen, doodle something on it, click on the purple button in the bottom right. So what I do when I give my students a template in Geogebra Notes is I draw a red arrow at the purple button and I'll insert a text box. Go to the next page. So let them know that there's more people. Okay, so then what you have to do is hit that little share icon. You see the share icon?
Mm-hmm.
Click on that. Okay, here's my problem. I needed to, no, see, when I shared it, you see it has different letters at the end? It has different letters at the end, so it didn't alter my original, it made a copy. You're gonna copy that link. So you gotta click the share icon, you gotta name it with your name. It didn't give me that option because I'm the owner of it. You gotta name it with your name and you gotta click copy, and then back in Google Classroom, in the upper right-hand corner where it says your work, the your work bubble, you're gonna do the add create, and you're gonna add a link and you're gonna put the link there. Now, if they put in the private comments, great. That doesn't bother me at all. They can put in the private comments or they can add it in the add link. This time I want you to practice doing it in add link. The reason last time that we had to do it in the private comments was because you don't own it and you can't turn in documents you don't own. In this case, it's not a Google Doc. So there's no ownership transfer anyway. And if you make sure that you turn it in.
Mom, we got mail.
Guys, I'm doing my webinar, so I need you to go back outside. I'm almost done. Okay, so I can see one's turned it in, 4 are still assigned. And zoom out. So here's what I love. Do you see this? Gabby's turning this link. It looks like it's a Google Doc, the Geogebra Notes. I can see it. Now, when I launch it, it will not open up in the feedback tool. It will not open up in the feedback tool. It will open up in a new tab. So for that reason, we're going to go back to the other way. I'm going to right click and I'm going to open it in a new window. I don't want it to open in a tab. I want it to open in a window. We're going to open a new window. Let me stop presenting so we can see this side by side. My entire screen. So now you can see that I have Gabby's work on the left, and on the right-hand side, I have her Geogebra Notes. So I'm going to again zoom in. I'm looking at Gabby, and over here, I'm going to go ahead and take a screenshot. I love your triangle, Gabby, because I use their name, and then I put the link to the screenshot. Now, if I want to give her some feedback, I'm going to go ahead and draw on this and highlight something maybe, right? So I've annotated on her document. So now when I click the share button, share, it's actually making a copy. So I'm going to choose copy, and I'm going to come over here in the private comments. Here is your feedback. You'll notice that her document ended in MDBJ947. And when I edit, as soon as I edit it and I click save or share, it changes the end of it to create a copy. So I'm able to make notes, give suggestions on the Geogebra Notes, and then I just click the share icon and I paste those feedback notes right back in Google Classroom. So this works for anything, no matter what product you're using. So I know that Lauren uses some video product that I've never heard of. So after they've made their product, they should have some sort of link, right? And they can put it either in the private comments, or I noticed that Matthew put it in the private comments. You'll see it doesn't matter to me. Here's Matthew's. If he had done add link, it'd be right here under his name, or it's just a little bit lower. What do I care? Either way, I right click on it and I open it in a new window, put it to the side, and now I have all this room over here to give feedback on the left as I look at his work on the right, and then I use the quick share screenshot to take a screenshot when I give him feedback. And then in this case, with it being Geogebra Notes, I can do the share just because that's how this one works, and I can copy it and give them the feedback. So if I was doing a video, if they turned in this video to whatever, I would right click on the link they gave me for the video. I'd open a new window. I'd put it side by side. I zoom in on the Google Classroom assignment screen so it's a little bit easier for me to give them feedback, and then I can give them a score. Okay. Questions?
So to submit a video project, you would have them do it through the private comments and not through the like the list that they have where they can choose link.
Hold on a second. Here we go. It doesn't matter. Literally doesn't matter.
Mm.
You can have them put it in add link, or they can put it in the private comments. It doesn't matter. You see here, Matthew put in the private comments. I don't care. I don't care. What I miss out on by him doing in the private comments is Geogebra Notes has a preview. Whatever they turn in may or may not have a preview. Probably your video thing doesn't. But who cares? Because I'm going to right click on whatever link they give me, however they give it to me, and open it in a new window.
Mm.
And I just put their feedback right in Google Classroom private comments.
I can get up to 90 assignments in a day, and I really prefer the private comments because then I get an email, I see it immediately, I can look at it and grade it.
My bread and butter right there.
Otherwise, I have to look through 30 slides.
I don't. If they put something, anything in the private comments, I get an email. I know someone did some work. So that's why I have just basically a blank policy. All assignments are reflection assignments, all of them, every single one. And I manage it because you got to be able to filter Gmail. That is the secret sauce, is filtering Gmail for all the private comments. And then when I go in, I grade an assignment or I give feedback on an assignment. You all know me. My best tip is to number all my assignments with a hashtag, right? So hashtag 003. So in the search bar at the top of Gmail, I put in hashtag 003. All those emails come up, and then I delete them all at once. It's beautiful. It's already, as soon as I go into assignment, I do all of them in there while I'm in there. Okay.
Slightly a slightly related question. If you put the Geogebra Notes into the slides, can you see them drawing on the slides there?
No.
Okay.
No, but Geogebra Classroom you can. So it's just a different thing. So I did Geogebra Classroom was our webinar this last week. So if you go look at the email that you got today, where it has last week's webinars, you're going to see the webinar for the Geogebra. It's Geogebra Classroom. So you can see how in live time you can see students working on the slides.
That'd be nice.
Mm-hmm. So Gabby, when you get the link to the Geogebra Notes, you're turning in that file, and I think so long as the number at the code at the end stays the same, I would see your updates. The problem is if you do something that forces a save as, so they're changing Geogebra Notes. They're making it better. So before I give you too many tips and tricks on how to manage Geogebra Notes, let's wait until the new version comes out. So for now, let's just assume that it's frozen. The way they turned it in is it. There are ways to update it, but let's pretend not. Okay, any other questions? Oh, Kristen, you're muted.
How did you put that side by side on your screen to grade it?
Right, so I just right click, it says open a new tab, and then I just drag it over and I resize my windows. And then I have several like Chrome extensions and things that snap to the sides. You know, in Windows, if you drag a window and you kind of like hang at the left edge, snaps to the left, and then you take the student work and you drag it so it hangs to the edge of the right, snaps to the right and the right, side by side. The most important, I'm going to throw this out here. Challenge me on this. The most important skill as a remote teacher or any teacher using digital tools is the ability to make windows side by side. When you're in a Google Meet, when you're in a Zoom, you have to do side by side. When you're grading student work, you need your grade book side by side with student work. When students have directions, then you have the directions side by side with what work they're doing. We all need to invest time in teaching students how to do side by side and helping all of our teacher colleagues do that. If you master side by side, your life gets way better quick.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording.